When Meghalaya Monitor met Beryl Sangma in Tura, he was candid about the prospects of political parties in the 2023 Assembly elections. He is certain that TMC will make a mark and that the corruption charges against NPP will affect the party's poll prospects. The former RBI Chief General Manager sees an uphill task ahead for the Congress.
But as far as Garo Hills and Chanti is concerned, TMC doesn't really have such a strong foothold. Because right now, apart from Charles Grove and a few others, they really do not have such a strong hold in Garo Hills and Chanti Hills. So it's more in Garo Hills that we have TMC. TMC is going to provide a very good fight against NPP in the coming elections.
What about other political parties? What about NPP?
NPP is doing well right now as far as the number is concerned, but we are not really very sure how it will perform in the 2023 election because there are a number of issues which have come up, and these issues may play a major role in their being re-elected.
Can you tell us about the future of Congress? Since you are also a congressman.
Congress seems to be a party which has gone down and down. I mean, when all these 11 MLAs went away, they were left with 5 MLAs. Now even the 5 MLAs have been suspended. So now Congress is left with not a single MLA. When you don't have a single MLA, and how are you going to fight in the elections? So it's going to be a very uphill kind of a way for Congress in the coming elections.
Coming to UDP, you just mentioned about it just a while ago. There is a bright future for them. Can you explain?
Yeah, UDP is one party which has come up in Garo Hills and Chanti Hills maybe, but not so much as far as Garo Hills is concerned. We have had few people who have joined UDP, but UDP is not really having much of a foothold in Garo Hills. UDP is doing much better in Garo Hills and Chanti Hills.
What about BJP?
BJP is one party where maybe because of religious, cultural influences, they do not really have much hold over the electorate. So they may they may maintain the status quo, but to think in terms of BJP getting majority or forming the government, I think that will be a far cry.
So in this context, what sort of a combination you are looking at?
See, UDP is trying to distance itself from NPP, but left with no alternative, they may have to come together again and then form the government.
Well, brother, is there any chance that NPP will be sort of untouchable and others may form the government?
In politics, I think you have no permanent friends or permanent foes, permanent enemies. So it's a question more of a question of convenience. So they'll pick whoever comes and gives them the wedding ring, and then they'll get married.
You are also an important leader, so many offers have come to you. What is your plan? I mean, are you contesting the assembly election?
Yes, it's true. I've got a number of offers from a number of parties, but they are family concerns, family issues, because of which I am not really planning to enter into the fray.
Sangma joined the Congress party in 2019 after he retired as a banker. However, he never participated in the electoral politics and is still undecided. When asked about his plans in politics, Sangma said he is yet to renew his party membership.
And this kind of politics has been there right from the beginning. It was Captain Sangma, and then after that P.A. Sangma, and then Dr. Mukul Sangma. You know, when it was Captain Sangma, there wasn't so much of family politics, because apart from one son, his other sons and daughters never came to politics. But with P.A. Sangma, his whole family has come into politics. with Dr. Mukul Sangma, most of his family members are also into politics. So family politics has now come to stay, whether we like it or not. This has happened, I think, even in Garo Hills, where we have a number of people whose sons, for example, like talk about Dr. Amparin Lingdo, her brother, her father, they were all there in politics.
Karnesh Marak is the first MP from Tura and he is your father. Don't you think enough recognition was not given to him?
Well, it depends because what happened was he was also one person who was never really interested in hyping himself. He was more interested in doing something good for the state, for the people, for the district. And he was not so much interested in putting him up or putting himself up for name. So I think that continued with his family members. So that's why he was not really seen much around in the struggles. Though the idea of sending him to the parliament was the proposal of Captain Sangma, saying that we need a very good orator, we need a very strong person to represent us in the center. So that was the reason why Mr. Karnesh Marak was sent as MP to the parliament.
This is the time that we recollect the Hill State leaders, 50 years of statehood. Was he also involved in Hill State movement?
Yes, very much. He and Captain Sangma, they were fighting side by side. And I remember the time when we had these rallies and the meetings. We were in school those days, and we had people coming from all over Meghalaya, coming and staying in our house. And then our fathers going all the way to Shillong and other places to have meetings to fight for the statehood.
We have now a lot of monuments, like P.S. Sangma awards are being given. Then a lot of things are coming up in Garo Hills. Some busts are being erected. So don't you think, at least being a first MP, irrespective of political affiliations, why is not given that recognition?
Basically because I think there's no one to take up his case. I mean, if it is a case of P.S. Sangma, his children are there in the government. If it is a case of William Sangma, his children were also there in the Congress, and they had a lot of influence in the Congress party. I think for Mr. Karnesh Marak, none of his family members are in power, or none of his relatives are in power, so there was really no one to take up his case, to maybe erect a monument or put up a bust.
But you are there. I mean, you can also take up.
Yes, I'm there, but I'm more of I was in the government service. So being in the government service, I really could not take it up. Now when I think about it, I feel that maybe, yes, we should have done it.
What about your RBI days?
RBI is one organization which is to a large extent corruption free. And RBI gives a lot of opportunities for you to shine with your talents. For example, in my case, I was not only trained as a banker, I was sent on deputation to the Central Bureau of Investigation. From there, I was sent to France, to Lyon, to Interpol. I came back from there. I was posted as the banking ombudsman, so more in the role of a judge. And then my last posting was as a director of the Indian Institute of Bank Management, where it is more of the role of an academician. So RBI gives a lot of opportunities for people. If you want to go for higher studies, we have got opportunities wherein you can take the Golden Jubilee Scholarship and go abroad and do your PhD and other further studies. So RBI is one very benevolent employer and very good in helping people find their talents and nurture those talents.
In what post you started and what post you ended?
I was recruited as a grade B officer, and it is an all India examination, and by God's grace I was placed at number 1 in the all India level, and I was told that I was holding the record for the highest marks obtained in the interview for a number of years. I joined as a grade B officer and I retired as the Chief General Manager of Reserve Bank of India.
Any message to the youths who want to pursue?
Yes, they have to work hard because I was the only Garo in Reserve Bank of India, and for 32 years, there was not a single Garo who joined Reserve Bank of India. Only in the last year of before my retirement, a girl, Tanya Sangma, joined, who happens to be the classmate of my daughter. So you can see a big gap between my entering Reserve Bank of India and the second entrance. I would like to give this message to young people. If you work hard, if you are sincere in your studies, nothing is impossible. You can achieve it. For reason, I cannot say anything much about it after it's a government policy. And that will be only my personal point of view. But to answer to your question about the deshackling of the rupee, if we were to deshackle the rupee and not link it to any other currency, how are we going to pay off for our imports? We need to pay for our imports. That is one part. Another part is, to make payment, we need to have foreign reserves. If we don't have the foreign reserves, then from where are we going to make payment? See, in 1971, we had foreign reserves to the tune of making payment for imports of only 2 weeks. And we were in dire straits. Then we had to take our gold all the way to Bank of England, pledge it there, and get the money to make payments for imports. And from there we started again, almost from scratch. Now we have one of the biggest foreign reserves in the whole world, India. So that's what, so if the rupee is deshackled, how are we going to control inflation? One. Secondly, how are we going to make payments for the imports? So it's virtually impossible. This kind of situation has arisen only in America, in USA, where the dollar, they do not have any foreign reserves. Because it's a dollar, it's a currency, their currency, which is being used to make payments for everything and anything. So they don't have any foreign reserves. But the statistics goes like this, that 50% of the dollars in the whole world, they are black money. 50% of that, they are all fake money. So you can see how the underworld, they are also utilizing this situation, where the dollar is not linked to any other currency.
So how to make rupee stronger?
To make rupee stronger, we would like to have more of exports and less of imports. But that is again a very difficult situation. We need to have a balance between this. But India has improved in our quality of goods. So now we are having less and less of imports of many other things. But the biggest imports are for the defense. So that is where a lot of our imports go, payment for imports go. And that is something which is out of our control, because we need to have the latest ones, latest armaments.
Then crude.
Yeah, then crude oil. Crude oil is something which, again, we are paying a lot for that.